You ever stare at a GTA character and think there's something off about them? Not just the 1,000-yard stare, not just the way pedestrians scream like opera singers when you sneeze on them, but deeper, like a secret buried under 5 layers of code. There are things hidden in these games, tiny forgotten pixels, unread emails, lines of dialogue, whispered once and never again, stuff Rockstar put in there just because they could, and you've been walking right past it for years. Welcome to a world of random GTA facts that you had no idea about, but by the end of this video, you will never look at Los Santos the same again. Let's start where the world began, GTA 3. Did you know, in the original version of the game, Claude can't swim? Okay, well, you definitely knew that, but here's what you didn't know. The devs didn't just leave water as a death trap for realists. They used it as a border, a code wall. Swimming meant you could break the game. Water wasn't water, it was a boundary. A silent bouncer telling you, nah, you don't belong out there. And speaking of voids, in San Andreas, there's an interior universe, a hidden dimension that exists completely off the map. You access it by glitching into certain interiors, like Mad Dog's mansion or a burglary house. What you find? Floating rooms, gravity glitches, a skybox made of madness. It's called the Blue Hell, and it's like the devils left a tiny matrix behind, not for you to see, but just in case you did. Here's a fun one. In Vice City, one building literally has Easter egg written inside it, and I don't mean metaphorically. You fly a chopper through a specific window, and boom, you find a chocolate egg sitting on a pedestal. It says Happy Easter. No joke, no reward, no mission, just vibes. Rockstar's basically trolling you, and it gets better. In GTA 4, if you head to Happiness Island, Liberty's own Statue of Liberty clone, you can actually go inside it, climb up the base, glitch through the doors, and there it is, a giant beating heart suspended by chains. No explanation, no lore drop, just a fleshy metaphor pumping away beneath a Statue of Freedom. It's like Rockstar was saying, the city is alive and it's not okay. You ever stop and actually listen to these characters? Like, really listen? Trevor, for example, has 1,200 lines of completely optional dialogue. Half of it triggers only if you idle, wander, or switch to him at the wrong time.
You wouldn't believe this, Ron. One of these assholes is having a seizure or something.
That's me! That's me! Don't shoot!
Sometimes he's threatening squirrels, sometimes he's quoting poetry, sometimes he's crying, and here's the kicker. The more you kill with him, the darker his idle lines get, and it's like the game knows what kind of player you are, and it reflects that right back at you. GTA isn't just watching, it's judging. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but Trevor actually wears a calculator watch, which looks just like the one that Walter White wears in the Breaking Bad series.
You're goddamn right.
I bet you didn't know this, but when your character gets drenched in GTA 5, their clothes take exactly 1 minute and 10 seconds to fully dry, no matter the outfit. Well, now you know. Okay, this might be one of the weirdest things you can do in GTA 5, but you can actually set Chop's poop on fire using a jerry can. Yes, it actually burns and disappears into ashes. Honestly, why would Rockstar even program this? It's bizarrely unnecessary, yet hilarious. I'm sure you know you can take selfies in GTA 5 using your phone, but did you know you can also take selfies during cutscenes? Well, if you time it just right, your character will pull out their phone and snap a selfie while the cutscene is happening. You can take some weird looking photos with this. If you've just had a conversation with a character and you try calling them back, they will remember that you've just talked, and instead of the usual friendly banter, they will tell you to just hang up and stop bothering them.
Are you serious? We just hung out. You gotta get a life.
Okay, well, then back to playing with myself.
Hey, Frank, let's do something.
Hey, can you call me another time? We was just speaking.
No worries, man. I'll see you soon. Hey, homie, wanna hang out, man?
Hey, we was just talking, homie. You turn into one of them anterograde amnesiac niggas?
Okay, homie, some other time.
Some NPCs in GTA 5 actually wear glasses, and you know what's cool? When you punch or kick them, their glasses can actually come off. And no, they're too scared to pick them up afterwards, and they just start running for their lives as soon as they stand back up. Okay. This one is pretty gross, but when you've just killed some NPCs, you can actually perform a burnout over their dead body, and it will make the blood spray away from the spinning tires, creating this gruesomely detailed splatter effect. Here is a cheeky little fact for you. There are exactly 69 story missions in GTA 5. Yeah, Rockstar knew exactly what they were doing when they picked that number. We all know Lester is a huge tech geek, but he's also a superhero fan. Look around his house, and you will spot a small shelf filled with superhero action figures. A green guy is supposed to be Master Chief, right? While snooping around Lester's place, you will also find a book titled Surveillance, and if you zoom in on it, you will see that it has CJ's picture on its front page. This one's both sad and hilarious. If you visit the memorial at the military base, it's supposed to honor fallen soldiers by listing their names, but if you zoom in, every single name is John Doe. Looks like Rockstar decided to save time with a single name, or John really gave his all for the country, apparently. You can actually park your car with the wheels still turned. While inside the car, hold down the handbrake and throttle together, and then turn the wheels slightly in the opposite direction of where you want them to stay. Now get out of the car without letting go of those buttons, and the wheels will snap the opposite direction you were turning and stay that way until you hop back in. I don't know what you're gonna do with that, but yeah. There's an NPC in GTA 5 you've probably never seen before, Jesco White, a guy who spends all his time tap dancing. You will find him at the foreclosed North Alamo Pier of North Calafia Way. He is dancing to the beat in front of a house with a portable radio playing in the background, and he doesn't stop as long as the music is going. But he isn't just a dancer. You can also listen to him on the radio by tuning into the Rebel radio station. When you're in a snowy area, you can pick up snowballs by pressing the left D-pad button on consoles or G on PC. They seem like harmless fun, but did you know snowballs in GTA 5 are surprisingly deadly? Well, they're considered throwable weapons, and while they don't really explode like nades, they can still kill NPCs. Throw around 10 snowballs at an NPC, and you will actually take them out, or you can knock them down if you aim for their head. If you fall into the ocean from a high enough height in GTA 5, your character will actually die on impact. It's a surprisingly realistic touch, since falling from a great height into water can be as deadly as hitting concrete in real life. But there is a way to cheat death here. If you open a parachute while falling and then cut it loose before hitting the water, you will survive the fall no matter how high you were. I'm not sure if you're ever gonna need that, but you never know. During one of the Strangers and Freaks missions, Trevor is asked to get a golden tooth as a souvenir, and for that he's asked to get it from a guy named Willie. He falls all the way to a nightclub where he talks to the Love Fist band.
Hey man, no more autographs.
Hey, that's okay. I want something more personal.
Piss off, you twat, before I kick your ass.
Which is actually the same band from GTA Vice City, and this Willie guy is also a returning character from the same band we first saw in Vice City. Sadly, Trevor has to beat the guy and break his golden tooth, and after he gets the golden tooth, Trevor even apologizes to the Love Fist fans.
Sorry, Love Fist fans.
There are some places in GTA 5 where you can actually find these telescopes, which are supposed to help you look further into the distances. However, that's not actually the case. In fact, these telescopes are actually pretty useless compared to your phone's camera. If you zoom in with your phone, you can see far clearer and more precisely than through the telescope lenses. So I honestly don't know why they exist in the game, but then we're talking about them, aren't we? Besides the zombie guy and the one wearing Master Chief's costume, you can find plenty of other street performers or buskers in GTA 5. Some might be acting, others playing some instruments, and they all seem very peaceful. That's until you start taking their pictures without tipping them. In that case, they will get angry and even start attacking you. So maybe tip them next time you want to take a picture. For a while, Franklin actually lives at his aunt Denise's house, which has a little garden outside. If you take a closer look at the garden, you will spot two oddly familiar looking mushrooms, because these aren't just any mushrooms. They're a subtle reference to the iconic Super Mario Brothers. The red and green mushrooms resemble Mario and Luigi, with the red one being slightly shorter, just like the brothers' signature height difference. It's a neat little Easter egg that's easy to miss. There is a secret crawling animation that you might not have seen before. It actually plays when your character gets stuck under a truck, and your character will actually crawl out from beneath in a realistic way. We don't usually see this animation play anytime else, not even when the player is stuck under the car. In that case, it simply gets teleported to one of the sides, but we do see a similar one when you try to exit a flipped car. So most cars in GTA 5 just stop working as soon as you drive them into the water, but some cars can actually drive underwater as long as their exhaust stays above the water itself. It works best with trucks that have a high mounted exhaust. Now if your car has a low exhaust, it will stop working instantly, but if you are lucky enough to have the exhaust on the top, you can drive around underwater. It's a pretty cool feature to mess around with, but don't bother installing a snorkel because I have and it doesn't work. Okay, so we've seen cars driving underwater, but did you know that you can actually drive boats on land too? Well, not exactly, but as long as there is a little stream or water source around, you can ride a boat like some kind of off-road vehicle. It's honestly kind of hilarious and feels like something that should be illegal, but is a fun glitch to mess around with. You might already know about this one, but when you dial this strange number in GTA 5, it connects you to a mysterious contact named Black Cell Phones. But instead of a normal call, it triggers a bizarre sequence where your phone turns black and causes an explosion right above your character's head. Why does this happen? Well, nobody knows for sure, but fans have speculated that it's somehow connected to the Mount Chiliad mystery. Amanda de Santa is full of surprises, not the good kind. I mean, we all know she cheats on Michael with other people, but it's not limited to people she meets in real life. She even has an active profile on Hush Smush, the game's dating website, and whilst her face isn't visible, her bio is a dead giveaway. Husband ignoring and sitting by the pool all day, likes yoga, acts like someone 20 years younger, and yeah, that's definitely her, right?
I'm paying that turd $150 an hour to fuck my wife in my own bed?
Speaking of social profiles, our guy Nico from GTA 4 also has one on Life Invader, GTA's very own version of Facebook. The profile reveals he's alive and working as a cab driver, or possibly even owns a cab company and brokers. After leaving the world of crime, Nico seems to have settled into a quieter life. Could we possibly see Nico in GTA 6 as a cab driver? Yes, Sam.
You remember me?
While most of us couldn't care less about traffic lights in GTA, the NPCs actually take them seriously, even when on foot. If they're halfway across the zebra crossing and the light turns green, they will start running to get to the other side quickly and avoid getting run over. During one of the prison contract missions, players come across a movie set that feels like a behind the camera scene from the Terminator. Look at this guy, it looks exactly like the guy from the actual movie. You can also find similar bikes on the movie set, and the guy even has a sawed-off shotgun that he uses to kill you. But what's even more interesting is that he also has an insane amount of health, and even comes back to life after getting shot in the head. Rockstar apparently had plans to include pool as a playable activity in GTA 5. There are pool tables scattered around the game world, and the balls are even interactive. You can push them around or shoot them out of the table. But for some reason, they never fully implemented the feature, and it really is a shame because playing pool with your friends would have been a lot of fun. Do you know what's the fastest way to stop your car when you're riding at high speeds without getting it totaled, that is? Well, here's a neat trick. While driving at high speeds, simply open the character selection menu, select any character, and then back out of the selection without switching. This instantly brings your car to a complete stop no matter how fast you're going, even if it's 500 miles an hour. It's like an emergency brake that could totally come in handy at times. You can find homeless people around different parts of the city, and they will most likely be sleeping. When you get close to them or walk around, they will actually wake up from the noise and ask you to go away. If you're on a tight budget but still want to lower your car's suspension, you don't need to head to Los Santos Customs. All you need is a gun. Just aim at the very center of your car's wheels, not the tires, but the hub of the wheel, and just shoot. You will see the car's suspension lower down after a few shots, and I have no idea why this works, but apparently it's just one of those little odd GTA mechanics that somehow made it into the game. Okay, I know this sounds stupid, but if you take a good look at the GTA 5 map, it starts to resemble something oddly familiar, Homer Simpson. It might not really be the case, but the way the map is shaped, especially the outline, has led fans to make the hilarious comparison. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Trevor is one of the most iconic characters in gaming history, but did you know Stephen Ogg, the actor and voice behind him, actually hates being known for it? Well, maybe not hate exactly, but he doesn't like how people only remember him as Trevor.
Stephen Ogg here. Trevor, I guess? You might know me as the cartoon? Because it's a cartoon and I'm real life, see? Flesh. Good old Hugo Montego. He wanted me to give you this message from Trevor, which, of course, I'm not Trevor. My name is Stephen. Because, as actors, you portray different characters. And it would be literally impossible for me to be a cartoon. I mean, literally impossible for me to be a cartoon. Like, I can't be.
It's sort of understandable, because imagine being talented enough to do all kinds of roles, but everywhere you go, people just yell, "Hey Trevor," at you. Still, love you Stephen Ogg for this awesome character.
I'm gonna put you in the fucking ground, you laugh at me again!
Man, calm down.
The windshields in cars are actually tougher than the side windows, just like they are in real life. You can actually test it by shooting both. The windshield will take more hits before shattering, whereas the side windows break right away. But we're still talking about cars. Here's another small detail. When you shoot a police car sirens, they don't just stop working. Instead, the sound gets distorted based on how much damage the siren takes. And if you take a look at this video, this is how they sound before I shoot them. And this is how they sound after they are damaged.
Come on!
Pretty neat, right? If you've been playing GTA 5 for a long time on PC, I'm pretty sure you remember how long it used to take to jump from GTA single player to online. Well, one clever modder came up with a solution that drastically reduced those insane load times, and Rockstar was so impressed that they officially implemented it into the game. And they didn't just stop there. They rewarded the modder with $10,000 and gave them a shout out in their official site. Do you guys remember Eddie Lowe, the creepy serial killer from GTA 4? Well, it seems like he might have made his way into GTA 5, or at least someone with the same name. If you're driving as Trevor in his own truck, you can catch this strange yet hilarious conversation between a truck driver and a security guard. The truck driver seems to share the name with the serial killer Eddie Lowe from GTA 4. This is a really fun Easter egg that's so easy to miss.
This is Eddie Lowe. I just damn near clipped that electric Indian.
Eddie Lowe?
That's me.
Ain't you a serial killer?
Yeah, very funny. So what if we had the same name? You think I'd be driving a truck all day if I was a serial killer?
I thought all you truckers were serial killers.
Screw you! What the hell you do for a living?
I'm a security guard.
Ha! A damn rent-a-cop. Go sit in the chair and watch the world go by.
Hey, don't be mad at me because you're a truck driver with a serial killer's name.
One of the funniest scenes when switching to Trevor is finding him on a Faggio, chasing another NPC on a scooter, and constantly yelling, "Scooter Brothers."
We are Scooter Brothers! Scooter Brothers!
I'm sure you know, but this hilarious moment is actually a reference to YouTuber Brad Simmons, who went viral for his antics in GTA 4, shouting the same phrase whenever he tailed another NPC on a scooter.
We are Scooter Brothers! Scooter Brothers! We are brothers on scooters!
The way Rockstar immortalized this meme is pretty hilarious. Sometimes even the biggest developers give in to laziness, even Rockstar. You look at this cargo boat standing in Los Santos shipping facility. If you've played GTA 4, it might look a little bit familiar. Well, it's almost identical to the Platypus cargo ship from Liberty City, except it's called Octopus in GTA 5. Sure, the textures are upgraded, but it's essentially the same model. Call it an Easter egg or whatever, but I think they were just lazy. While we're still on the topic of boats, there's another ship that seems to have been borrowed from another Rockstar game to GTA 5. I'm talking about the Dignity Super Yacht, the luxurious ship that looks shockingly familiar to the one we see in Max Payne 3. Are we still calling it an Easter egg, or is it just Rockstar being lazy? Do you remember El Rubino's Panther, the one he fed his right-hand man to? He's mostly caged and no one really expected to see him roaming about, but it's possible to see the Panther on the loose when you're just about to escape the island. Most players only hear its distant growl, but a lucky few have spotted the Panther up close, like this one Reddit through who saw it lurking on the stairs outside a building. During the Complications mission, Simon, the car dealer, tasks Franklin with repossessing a car that Michael's son, Jamie, bought. When you head to Michael's house to grab the SUV, you won't notice, but this car actually sounds off compared to the usual BJ. It's got a more aggressive engine tone, almost as if it's been modified somehow. Let me show you the difference here. This is how the standard BJ sounds. And this is how Jimmy's BJ sounds. I mean, it's pretty useless info, but then again, you asked for it. If you've ever wandered around Los Santos, you might have noticed some garbage cans with RSNRTH written on them. That's short for Rockstar North. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, so let's just drop a comment down there and we'll see how many of us actually agree to this. It turns out that OG Locke from San Andreas made a fine career later on, because Franklin has some records in his home, and one of them is actually from OG Locke. He also has another one from Mad Dog, who was already a pretty big name in San Andreas. Looks like Franklin is a fan of both.
Saw Mr. Clinton up in his office talking with Mad Dog earlier. I gotta say, Mr. Clinton looked kind of starstruck.
There's an NPC in Los Santos wearing a similar outfit as Grove Street Gang, but an orange color. If you attack that guy, he would say something like, "Man, I thought we were the same set." Now the reason why he says that is because earlier in the development, GSF was actually called Orange Grove Families. Here's what their logo looks like. You can actually find these logos repeated across different walls in San Andreas still. In Franklin's home, you can find this book with the title Red Dead, authored by none other than J. Marston. While some might think it refers to John Marston, Red Dead Redemption 2 fans know the truth. It's Jack Marston, John's son, who always dreamt of becoming a writer. Looks like Jack achieved this goal after all.
You think you're funny?
Here's another GTA San Andreas Easter egg that you might not know about. In a small bar at Jello Jack, if you zoom in on the announcement board, you can actually find this rare $69 bill with the GTA San Andreas poster girl and the medal. Have you guys seen this before? This is really weird, but some rocks in GTA 5 are actually crushable. I mean, you can drive over them and they actually break down into smaller pieces. We don't see that happening to other objects in the game, but this makes me excited for what GTA 6 might have to offer in terms of breakable environments. If you pay attention to Franklin's car, his Buffalo has a number plate that says FC 1988. The FC stands for Franklin Clinton, of course, and the 1988 part is his birth year. That makes Franklin around 24 to 25 years old at the start of GTA 5. We all know by now that the train in GTA 5 is practically unstoppable. We've been trying to stop it in every way possible, but Rockstar made sure that we absolutely can. But it wasn't always this way. Before one of the early updates, you could actually stop the train by attaching a few sticky bombs to the front compartment. The bombs wouldn't derail it, but it would make it come to a full stop just like that. But for some reason, Rockstar decided to get rid of it, but you can still, using some mods, destroy the train. But what's the fun in that? Chop might seem lazy most of the time, but he's not as useless as you think. He can actually sniff out useful stuff for you, like armor, collectibles, and even Easter eggs. Oh, and here's something very random. Chop has his own phone number in the game. You can call it if you want, but nothing really happens. Weird, right? GTA 5 also has its own version of a James Bond car, the JB700, which just means James Bond with 007 written backward. This beauty is inspired by the iconic Aston Martin DB5 from the movies, and even comes with a 4G3NT license plate, which looks a lot like Agent. This is totally random, but you can actually shoot stuff like drinks out of someone's hands. While we're talking about useless things, let's not forget the safe in your CEO office. Just saying. I'm sure you've all seen UFOs in GTA 5, but I bet not all of them. There are at least 5 UFOs in the game, 3 flying above Mount Chiliad, Fort Zancudo, and Sandy Shores, 1 submerged underwater, and 1 in the hippie camp. Weirdly enough, some of the UFOs have markings from the FIB, suggesting these aren't alien spacecraft at all, but some shady government experiments. Maybe this explains the real-life sightings in the real world the past few years. In the GTA 5 mission, Derailed, one of the gold medal objectives is to land on the train on your first attempt. If you pull it off, you will unlock the hilarious title Better Than CJ. It's like Rockstar still mocking our guy CJ for the whole "all we had to do was follow the damn train CJ" line.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.
Under a highway in the Grand Senora Desert, there's another CJ reference. It's a graffiti tag that looks like a random string of numbers at first glance. However, those digits cleverly correspond to the first letters of CJ's famous "all we had to do was follow the damn train" dialogue. This makes me wonder just what else Rockstar has hidden in plain sight. Back in 2010, when Rockstar was still working on GTA 5, which they called Project Rush at the time, Michael's character was originally named Albert De Silva. At some point, they decided to change it to Michael, and honestly, it's a good thing they did. Albert De Silva just doesn't hit the same way. Now, I'm not sure who needs to know this, but apparently, every character in GTA 5 has a different sleep schedule. Michael has a shortest sleep time of 6 hours, while Franklin sleeps for 8 hours, and Trevor, well, he sleeps for half a day, or 12 hours. This might be because he does meth, which is known to cause sleepiness and fatigue, and he often finds himself in the weirdest of places after he falls asleep under the influence.
Fuck off! Sleep in here.
This one's a little weird, and it might just be a glitch, but some houses in Los Santos have windows that spurt blood when you shoot them. Yeah, instead of just shattering like regular windows, or well, just leaving a simple bullet hole, they squirt out blood like a person just got shot. It's definitely strange and totally creepy. So is this just some sort of glitch, or is it actually an Easter egg? Let me know what you guys think. You might already know this one, but yeah, there's Kanye West in GTA 5, or at least a guy who looks like him. Could it be a coincidence, guys? I don't think so. The character's got the same flashy style and attitude, so it's definitely a chic and nod to the rapper. In the Cayo Perico heist cutscene, there's a female character introduced by Minnie Madrazo who bears some resemblance to Kylie Jenner. Her name is Kaylee, and Madrazo mentions that she has more followers than the Pope.
This beautiful piece is Kaylee. She's got more fucking followers than the Pope.
What's up?
Which seems like a subtle jab at the real-life celebrity. And if you notice, she is constantly glued to her phone throughout the scene, hardly paying attention to anything going on around her. Could Rockstar have been trolling Kylie Jenner in this way? The similarities are hard to ignore, and it certainly feels like a cheeky reference to her. What do you guys think? There's an NPC that you mostly find around the strip club in GTA Online, and he's wearing the sports jersey with Hopkins 00 written on the back of it. It's actually a reference to Jimmy Hopkins, the main character from Rockstar's classic game Bully, which reminds me to ask this: who else is waiting for Bully's sequel? For some weird reason, your character has better recoil control in first person rather than third person. You can actually test it out by shooting at a wall. This is what the recoil looks like in first person, and this is what it looks like in third person. You can see the difference here. When you light up a car in areas where fire trucks can actually reach, the fire seems to last a lot longer. But when the same happens in a remote area, the fire dies after a short time, like real quickly, because it knows no one's actually coming. When you pull up to a red light in your sports car and there's another one, you can actually rev your engine or perform a burnout, and it will make the other driver race you when the light turns green. If you're inside one of your MC facilities and decide to switch to CEO, the game will immediately kick you out of the building, because CEOs aren't allowed to hang out in MC businesses. But hey, it could actually come in handy if you're in a hurry to leave the facility. If you try to steal one of Michael's family members' cars, you will get some serious threats, especially from Amanda. They will know right away, and Michael will text you that Amanda's mad and will go to war with you over it. In the Smuggler's Run mission, Trevor needs a dune buggy to complete his task. This mission is a clever callback to the classic Rockstar's game Smuggler's Run, which also featured the iconic dune buggy. I'm sure you didn't even know about this game, but yeah, it was from Rockstar and it was released like 25 years ago, before most of you were even born, including myself. Let's talk about the yellow dog with a cone, a little item in GTA 5 that became an internet sensation. For some reason, the sad looking dog statue with a cone around its neck just became a hit, with fans creating countless memes. They even created a whole subreddit where fans could come up together to worship it, sharing art, theories, and the occasional praise the cone joke. We've all noticed how shops and businesses in GTA games open and close depending on the time of day, but this neat little detail also applies to the Coast Guard huts on the beach. If you're strolling along the beach just before sunset, you can actually watch the shutters on these huts closing as it gets darker. It's such a small detail that many players miss, because who actually cares? Most weapons in GTA won't let you aim directly straight up, like a 90-degree angle, except for the flare gun, which you can aim above your head. Bet you didn't know this. Each character in GTA 5 has has a different cell phone. Michael has an iPhone, Franklin has an Android device, and Trevor, well, he's kinda into Windows, so probably Nokia. This actually shows their social status, and that makes Michael the richest of them, but it wasn't always like that. Michael didn't even have a smartphone to begin with. He was in fact using an old school keypad phone before the prologue heist. If you're in the mood for some sightseeing in Los Santos, there's actually a tour bus that comes around in the western Vinewood area early in the morning.
As I am contractually obliged to say, buckle up everyone, it's showtime.
You can actually get on the bus and it will take you on a sightseeing tour around the city. You can just sit back, take some pictures, and look at the view. It makes you feel like an actual tourist, and it lasts around 20 minutes.
On your right, you'll see the world-famous Gentry Manor Hotel, a legendary party hangout for actors and rock stars and people trying to have sex with actors and rock stars.
Now let's talk about pedestrians. In GTA 5, every single pedestrian isn't just a random model. They have daily routines. Some wake up, go to work, hit a bar, go home, sleep, repeat. If you stalk them long enough, yeah, we're going full stalker mode. You can watch their lives fall apart. They get fired, they cheat, they get arrested, they disappear. And in GTA 4, it even goes further. Some NPCs actually text each other behind the scenes. They react to crimes you commit even if they are not nearby, and one woman will cry out your name in terror only if you've killed her boyfriend in a past mission. They remember you were just playing, but to them, you were a walking apocalypse. You already know about the ghost on Mount Gordo, right? Yeah, Jolene Cranley Evans, the woman who floats above the cliffs from 11 p.m. to midnight. Get too close and she vanishes. Look at the rock she stands on. It says Jock, that's her husband. He pushed her off, later became governor. And then there's the Shillied mystery. Drawings of UFOs, alien eggs, a Yetback icon stretched into stone like a caveman's prophecy, all pointing to the same thing. There's something else here, something waiting. And yes, if you 100% the game, come back at 3 a.m. during a lightning storm and you can actually see the UFO. But what does it mean? Rockstar never said, but maybe it's a joke, it could also be a warning, or maybe the game just wants you to keep looking. Let's rewind time. In the San Andreas beta, CJ was supposed to get fat and grow facial hair, like real-time beard mechanics. It didn't make it to the release. There was gonna be a car towing system, a skateboard weapon, and even kids. Yep, Rockstar was experimenting with adding children NPCs. Why did they scrap it? Well, because they knew what players would do, and it would not be wholesome. Also, early GTA 5 builds had a working casino, 4 more heists, and a whole North Yankton expansion. Cut, gone, vaporware, but traces still exist in the code, like echoes from a version of the world that never quite made it. And finally, GTA Online. You think it's just chaos? Try this. There's a way to break the server time loop. Hackers have discovered how to trigger dynamic weather that wasn't supposed to exist. Snow in summer, firestorms, days that never end. And did you know there's a cursed lobby where everyone spawns with no faces? Yes, skin masks. The game's name is still GTA, but it starts to feel more like Silent Hill. And if you dig even deeper, some players swear there's a secret 6th star, a wanted level you can't reach by normal means, only by doing everything wrong, all at once on the wrong day. Is it real? No one knows, but the myth persists, because GTA is that kind of game where the line between player and pawn is just blurred. So yeah, you thought you knew GTA, but under the bullets and chaos, beneath the mission and memes, there's another world, one stitched together with invisible threads, broken systems, and dev jokes so obscure they feel like hallucinations. A city of ghosts, of stories that never get told, of people who never existed but somehow still do. Now that you know, you won't unsee it, but we're just scratching the surface. Rockstar actually had plans to release a DLC for GTA 5 single player. They were working on a really cool DLC where Trevor would become some kind of law enforcement agent. Trevor, of all people, upholding the law. That's just ironic, but also something that you can only expect from Rockstar. Unfortunately, this DLC was scrapped midway due to GTA Online's profitability, which made them turn that DLC into GTA Online content instead. And this was actually confirmed by one of the former Rockstar developers.
Because I was like, yo, what the fuck, guys? This shit's awesome. Let's keep going. Let's finish this shit. And they,
so at this point, you guys don't finish the DLC, right?
Not that specific DLC.
Okay.
I don't think so. We went about probably halfway through it, and then I think we put a pause on it because GTA Online was just so people were going crazy.
Personally, I wish Rockstar had continued. It would have been absolutely amazing and a little bit fun seeing Trevor as a cop. I'm sure you've used Life Invader in GTA 5, but did you know Rockstar actually created a real Life Invader website? Well, back in the day, you could actually access it to grab limited time in-game rewards like discounts and bonuses. Sadly, it no longer functions as a parody social network. Instead, it just redirects you to Rockstar's official website. I'm sure you've heard of the phrase smoking kills. Well, in GTA 5, it actually does. If your character smokes multiple cigarettes in GTA 5 while on low health, they will start coughing blood and eventually drop dead. It's starkly comedic, but also a strangely effective note to people about the dangers of chain smoking. In GTA 5, when you visit another protagonist's house while they are away and you try to sneak in or shoot at their house, they will actually call or text you to stop doing that. In fact, what's really interesting is that they even know if you're using a gun or launching rockets at their front door and react differently to each.
Stop firing rockets at my house!
There is a zombie wandering around Vinewood Boulevard. Not a real one, of course, but a guy in a full zombie cosplay. He's fully committed to his role with all the moaning and groaning you would expect from the undead. You can even have a conversation with him, and it gets absolutely ridiculous if you're playing as Trevor.
You remind me of my brother, Ryan. I mean, after he was dead.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry. I'm glad he was dead. It was an accident. All right, that's all I have to say.
The zombie guy isn't the only cosplayer in the Vinewood area. You can find many more. One of the coolest ones is this guy absolutely rocking in full Master Chief armor, playing homage to the iconic protagonist from the popular Halo games. I wonder if he has some sci-fi guns on him. We all know about Trevor's parents and how he might have killed them, but did you know that he also had a brother? Well, his name was Ryan, and he's believed to have died before the events of GTA 5 in a tragic car accident.
I'm sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry. I'm glad he was dead. It was an accident. All right.
Or at least, that's what Trevor tells the zombie guy. He tells that guy how much he reminds him of Ryan and that it was really an accident, but he's also glad that Ryan's dead. This conversation sounds like Trevor had something to do with his brother's death and it wasn't a mere accident. Maybe he killed his brother as well. I mean, it wouldn't surprise anyone if it did, right? Calling emergency services in GTA 5 is a cool little feature that lets you ask for help from the police, paramedics, or fire trucks. But what happens when you're alone in the middle of the ocean and make that desperate call for help? Well, nothing. They don't refuse to help. In fact, they will assure you that help is on the way.
Thank you. Police officers are en route to your current location.
But that's not really the case. I actually waited for them for like 10 minutes, which is like 5 hours in GTA time, but no one ever showed up. I mean, there are police boats in the game, so it's a little weird why they don't come to your rescue. When you're in a gunfight with the cops, if you manage to shoot one of them in the leg, they will drop to the ground. Now if you just give it a second, you will see another cop coming to rescue the injured cop. They will drag the wounded officer away from the fight and try to get him behind cover. That's actually pretty cool, isn't it? I wonder what GTA 6 has in store for us. I'm sure you have been using the iFinder website for all kinds of stuff in GTA 5, taking money out of the bank, ordering stuff, but have you ever noticed that the mouse pointer when you're using the website isn't your standard arrow? It's actually a tiny middle finger. We've seen GTA characters do some completely random stuff and left idle for a while. Like for example when CJ starts singing.
Take your time and let me love you good. Boom, da 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 da.
But it gets much better in GTA 5. When you're on a beach and you leave your character idle for a while, they will actually switch the game to first person mode and start staring at, well, something or someone that caught their eye. Heck, they even zoom in to get the full view. If you need proof that Trevor actually loves Michael, just look at this tattoo that reads RIP Michael. They got one in his memory and to honor their friendship. You all know about trippy peyote plants, right? The ones that transform you into wildlife creatures? Well, they are not new to the GTA series. In fact, they actually have roots in GTA San Andreas. In one of the truth missions, a character makes a passing remark about peyote plants and how they can mess you up big time. Looking at Truth's lifestyle, it wouldn't surprise me if it was onto these trippy magic plants. We've been seeing these shell guy memes everywhere, but do you know who the actual shell guy is? Well, your nightclub bouncer. I mean, he's probably the only guy who won't hit you back even if you beat the crap out of him. You can punch him, kick him, he simply walks right back to his spot and continues working like nothing's happened. That right there, my friends, is the shell guy.
Welcome. Enjoy yourself.
During the Diamond Casino heist, just before you enter the loading bay, there's a poster on the door advertising a fundraiser for Felipe. Who's Felipe, you ask? Well, he's the valet outside the casino, the same one who's probably been run over by players more times than anyone can count, and this fundraiser is basically to cover his medical expenses. During one of the downtown cab company missions, you have to drop off a passenger at the docks. If you look closely, you will spot two cars parked there with license plates reading Nico B and Roman B. It's a clear nod to our favorite Eastern European cousins, Nico and Roman Bellic. When Trevor asked Michael about his first robbery, Michael casually mentioned that it was in Carcer City. And if you didn't already know, that's the same city featured in Rockstar's Manhunt game. Now according to Michael, this happened all the way back in 1988, which funnily enough is the same year Franklin was born. So while Michael was out there robbing stores and pulling off heists, Franklin was just entering the world. It's crazy to think how their lives would later collide despite such wildly different beginnings. Do you remember Madame Nassar from Red Dead Redemption 2? The strange woman who claimed she could predict the future? Well, she's technically in GTA 5 too. And I'm not just talking about her robot in the arcade. You can actually call her by dialing her number, and she will answer you. She picks up in her usual strange, cryptic way, asking if you would like to know your future. And considering RDR 2 takes place decades before GTA 5, shouldn't she be dead by this point? Well, unless one of her descendants has taken her place. It wouldn't be the first time that's happened in GTA 5. Do any of y'all remember the mechanic guy from GTA Online? Well, back in the day, players could hire this dude to deliver their car wherever they were at, but he wasn't exactly reliable. Sometimes he would show up and just hit you with your own car, and other times he would run off with it or deliver it in a super rough condition. On top of it, if you even slightly provoked him, this guy would lose it and attack you. No one knows if it was just a glitch or Rockstar trying to troll us, but after tons of complaints, they removed him. Honestly, I kind of miss the guy, because he really cracked me up sometimes. When you are in the Diamond Casino, try not to take too many pictures or you will just end up getting kicked out, because apparently the security there isn't a fan of paparazzi. If you take more than 5 photos while inside, the guards won't just give you a warning, they will physically throw you out like some junkie. It's actually pretty hilarious, but also kind of annoying. Now I'm not sure if you know about this one, but when you're in the middle of robbing a store and the cashier is taking their sweet time pulling out the cash, you can yell into your mic to make them speed up. It will probably make you look stupid in real life, but it actually works. You can even see your character move their lips when you speak into the mic. You've probably seen the big old fruit styles scattered around Los Santos with their giant oversized orange ball on top. If you decide to try and shoot or punch the big orange by climbing up there, it actually detaches and rolls away. The ball is actually pretty heavy and it can easily crush someone standing in its path. You can even push it down the hill and watch it roll down the mountain. You might have noticed this strange little teddy bear attached to Trevor's car and wonder what it's doing there. Well, for those who don't know, that's Mr. Raspberry Jam, Floyd's teddy bear. Trevor had a pretty strange relationship with this bear, which he used to love in some very questionable ways.
Later, you filthy bear, you.
This is how Teddy used to look before it brought this lonely man some joy, and this is how it looks now. Trevor took out his left eye, and you can see some weird white stains on his body, which suggests Trevor might have done some horrible things to this poor guy. And after Floyd's death, Trevor mounted Mr. Raspberry on front of his Canis Bodhi as some sort of bizarre tribute to the weird connection they shared. Speaking of UFOs, there's actually one more, which is a decorative piece which you can find over the Bishop's What the Fuck Museum. It looks pretty normal from afar, but when you get close to the shop, you can actually hear this weird alien noise coming from the UFO. Something fishy is definitely going on inside of that museum, which is actually a parody of the real-life Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. Now I'm sure you remember Michael's iconic line, "You forget 1,000 things every day, make sure this is one of them."
You forget 1,000 things every day. How about you make sure this is one of them?
Now this line actually comes from a Solomon Richards movie called Arthur Penny's Sanitarium. The original quote was slightly different though. "We forget 1,000 things every day, can't we just make this one of them?"
Forget 1,000 things every day. Can't we just make this one of them?
Arthur Penny's Sanatorium.
Rockstar gave it a little tweak, and now it's one of the most memorable lines in the game. Michael's hatred for his wife's yoga instructor in GTA 5 is pretty funny, but here's something even funnier. Michael's motion cap capture and voice actor Ned Luke is actually married to a yoga instructor in real life. His wife Amy Sachs teaches yoga, which makes this whole thing feel like either a wild coincidence or Rockstar secretly knowing way too much about everyone. I'm sure you remember the scene where Johnny Klebitz gets stomped on by angry Trevor after he warns Trevor to stay away from his girlfriend. Everyone thought Johnny Klebitz had died right there and then, especially since you can see Trevor scraping Johnny's brain matter off his shoe afterward. But if you look closely during the scene, you can actually see Johnny blinking his eyes. To prove that he was still alive, if you shoot him after the whole stomping, you still get the death feedback you usually see when you kill someone in the game. Either way, whether you shoot him or not, Johnny was definitely not walking away from that. You can hear about his death in the newspaper. However, most people believe this was just a bug in the game, so whether it's true or not, it's up to you to decide. I don't know if it's discrimination or what, but for some reason, Trevor is the only protagonist who can't set foot in the Los Santos International Airport without getting a wanted level. Unlike Michael and Franklin, who can stroll in like normal people and even buy a hangar, Trevor doesn't have that privilege. Maybe it's his reputation, or maybe the airport staff just can't handle his energy. Well, at least he gets his own hangar up in Blaine County, so there's that. The stock market in GTA 5 works a lot like real life. It reacts to what's happening around it. When you mess with a company, their stock can crash. Sometimes it recovers, but other times it's just game over for them. A perfect example would be Life Invader. After blowing up Jay Norris during the mission, their stock takes a sudden nosedive and never bounces back. At least I don't remember. It's a cool detail that makes your actions feel like they actually leave a mark on the world. Or well, you can play some lady luck there. Michael's therapist is the worst, and not just because of his annoying advice. The guy is a straight up ripoff. You know how much he charges for one solo session with Michael? Around $1,000. And if Michael brings his family along, it's a whopping 4 to 5 grand per session. I honestly don't know how much it costs for therapy in Los Santos, but a guy like that charging 5 grand a session, I am just glad we had the option to get rid of him. Laszlo, the iconic radio DJ, has been part of nearly every GTA game since GTA 3, popping up in both the 3D and HD universes.
Alright, you're listening to Laszlo 2.0. You know, it's called integrity, because it's, you know, it's sort of about me, you know? Like how I'm gonna someday be like a millionaire in blue jeans, and, you know, with a guitar kind of slung over my back.
Even though Rockstar says these universes are separate, Laszlo somehow manages to exist in all of them, like some weird GTA multiverse contestant. In GTA 5, he's more than just a voice on the radio. You actually get to meet him in person as a washed up, desperate for fame kind of guy. It's awkward and hilarious, exactly what you would expect from Laszlo.
I'm just a dumb A-list celebrity trying to entertain America, okay?
Your phone in GTA 5 almost had a built-in music player. Rockstar planned for it, but for some reason, they decided to scrap it before the game launched. It's a shame though. It could have been cool to blast your favorite tracks while texting Lester or avoiding a 5-star wanted level, but I guess it's for the better. Here's a cool detail you probably never noticed. Expensive cars in GTA 5 aren't used for flexing in front of your poor friends. They actually come with better soundproofing. If you're driving an old car in the rain, you will hear the drops hitting the roof. But when you hop into a more fancy car, the sound practically disappears. And yeah, rolling down the windows does bring the sound back. Rockstar really thought of everything, haven't they? But it doesn't mean that old vehicles are good for nothing. In fact, they can do something that modern vehicles can't: spying. I don't know if I'm 100% correct, but apparently when you're in a remote area driving an old truck or something, you can actually pick up these random radio signals, which are often just people talking to each other about some shady stuff, like cooking up drugs or other shady business. A little interesting.
So what if I tried to burn down my parents' house? They deserved it. They wouldn't get me the Exorbio I wanted.
We've seen all sorts of weird stuff in GTA 5. Aliens, zombies, and even naked Trevor. But have you ever seen mutant cockroaches? Yeah, there are a few spots in the game where you can find these huge, abnormally large cockroaches crawling around. I don't know if it's a glitch or some crazy experiment gone wrong in the infamous perfume factory, but these look pretty creepy. Okay, this might be a weird glitch, but it's totally super funny. Every so often, you will hear a male cop, but with a female voice. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's pretty hilarious. Take a look at this. That really cracked me up for some reason.
You are a zilch!
Here's another small detail that I bet you didn't notice before. So when you're in a city area surrounded by buildings and lights, and you look up into the sky at night, you will hardly notice stars. When you go out to a remote place or wilderness, you can see the stars more clearly at nighttime. It's a subtle touch that shows just how much Rockstar thinks about the little things in the game. The thermal goggles in GTA games actually work. I first found that out in GTA San Andreas, but they also work in GTA 5. Now if you use them and take out an enemy, you will notice their body changes color. They will go from bright orange to blue as their body temperature drops and their heat leaves their body. That's actually pretty cool. Here's another small detail that you might have missed, because honestly, who really notices what toothpaste brand the protagonists are using? Well, apparently some eagle-eyed fans do. There are toothpastes with CJ written on it, and they've appeared in previous GTA games as well. Some fans believe this is a reference to Carl Johnson from GTA San Andreas, but it might just be a nod to a Rockstar employee who worked on the game's props named Campbell John Dick, who was a senior interior designer for Rockstar. Some NPCs in GTA 5 are stranger than others, like this old guy here who lives all by himself and he's thought to be Franklin's father because his last name happens to also be Clinton. Well, father or not, this guy seems to have served in the Vietnam War, and I think he suffers from the trauma of the war events. You can talk to him and he will tell you all about it. It's an interesting, albeit heavy conversation if you ever take the time to chat with him.
War is beauty. War is truth. War made me this way, so fuck all of you.
CJ might not be Franklin's father, but there's a cool connection between the two. Franklin's voice actor, Sean Fonteno, is actually cousins with CJ's voice actor, John Melee. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's video. This took ages to make, so I appreciate you all for watching and hope to see you in the next video as well. Have a great rest of your day and consider subscribing if you haven't already.